best part about the Tomorrow War, the movie. These creatures are so fascinating, and you know me, I always love new alien creatures. So today we're gonna explore the alien creatures, or at least try to theorize where they came from, what they're about, and just check them out some more, because these guys look freaking amazing, dude. All right, let's go into what these guys are made of. Clearly, these creatures are armored at the top. Like lobsters, they have this carapace-like armor on the tops of their bodies. So even if you're hitting them with high caliber bullets, it doesn't affect. The creatures are hexapodal, which means that they have 6 legs. 4 true legs. One very long jumping hind leg that gives them a lot of propulsion and power to leap, push them forward, and climb. A smaller leg that looks more like a forelimb or even an arm that is also used to stabilize the midsection of their body. And then they have these 2 little raptor arm looking skinless bird wings that they use to protect their faces, to interact with things like pick them up, which is very useful. We see as the frames go on that the monster uses those little forelimbs to protect its face from the light and from things getting into their eyes. The rest of their 4 limbs they use for climbing and stabilizing themselves. They also have the ability to stick to surfaces like insects, which is freaking crazy. They can climb almost vertically because you can have a smooth surface and their legs are able to stick to any smooth surface. They can climb backwards, they can fall down forwards, they can move ridiculously fast. They're very nimble at moving in any direction that they like. What is most notable about these guys is they have 2 long tentacles that come out of their backs. At the end of these tentacles, a flower-like opening is used to grab onto things, but also has a midsection with a hole where they can shoot out bone-like spikes as projectiles at whatever it is they aim at. I'm not really sure how many of these little rounds they have or what they're made of, because at times the monsters don't seem to use them as though they have depleted the source, or they just would rather not because they're at close contact. The monsters are heavy but yet nimble, and they seem to have fairly good eyesight as they can see their prey from far away. They also have surprisingly impressive stamina. Along with their stamina, it's fair to assume that these creatures are carnivores because not just because they have very sharp teeth, as you can see in their face, but it's clear from their coordination, intelligence, and based on what they chase and how they consume that they are carnivores. These creatures do have an armored plate in their head, so as I said before, all up on their skull and dorsal side is armored. However, they're completely vulnerable on their underside, neck, and abdomen, as you can see in the scene here. The creatures clearly have good eyesight, and they also have good hearing, as they use vocal cues and other forms of vocalizations to communicate with each other. What I found to be so impressive with these creatures is the fact that they were talking to each other and coordinating to take down the humans. Oh my god, that part just twisted my tail inside my intestines. Watch here in these several clips as the monsters will communicate with each other where the humans are at all times, and will also give orders to each other based on the positions that they hold in their social hierarchy or their groups as to what to do next. Notice how that one in the building stopped and let out a cry similar to the raptors in Jurassic Park?
Oh my god. He's calling for help.
Later, when the humans reach outside, the raptor from Jurassic Park 3 makes another vocalization that seems to be telling the other raptors the position of the humans. And when these raptors are vocalizing and chittering with each other, that's exactly what it put me in mind of when watching this movie. In the scene of the Tomorrow War when they're trying to pick up the rescue team, the aliens are right on it. They know exactly what to do, how to attack, when to attack, what to attack, and the humans are left completely speechless as to the intellect of these aliens, which makes them that more interesting. Notice how they don't attack the humans that are running towards the Jeep. They attack the imminent threat, a way for the humans to get an escape. These guys are good with war tactics. That is very, very clear. It's not their first rodeo. Wherever it is these aliens came from, it's not like they have not attacked or been attacked before. They have the numbers to coordinate attacks like this. And all of these creatures that we see in these scenes are males. They're drones. Watch how they communicate even further with what's going on. And you can know exactly what these aliens are saying with how the other aliens react to the order that one alien gives them. See, They scatter. As soon as that one alien told them, hey guys, the humans are here. Scatter, let's pick them off. Go to the other side, start flanking them. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what they want. The entire time, just like dolphins, as they are hunting, they are vocalizing. We don't exactly know what they're saying, of course, but it's clear that they can assess a situation, assess their prey or opponent, and act accordingly. I've noticed that these aliens also don't seem to feel much pain, or if they do feel pain, they're warriors, so they will keep pushing onward. Everyone works together for the good of the species, for the good of the hive. Look at this scene, how they just work together flawlessly to bring the humans to their knees. In a real-world situation, these humans would have been dead already. But the plot requires them to stay alive so we don't feel bad and hopeless. Notice every time that alien gives an instruction, it's like he's controlling the others. Not like mind control, but telling them, giving them instructions. Hey, you guys, I need you to go over there. Bobby, get behind them. You guys, come up here with me. Cut them off. Surround them completely. Go behind the cars. Stay out of the line of fire. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's freaking badass. Like, I am loving this so much. You look at aliens like the Quiet Place monsters from the movie A Quiet Place, and you can tell that these monsters are reactionary. The aliens from the Tomorrow War are not reactionary. Notice that when these guys, Chris Pratt's character, Dan, were in the building, those aliens were in there with them the entire time, but they didn't attack. Why? They were assessing their prey, they were being stealthy, and they were studying their opponents. Even though they were just regular other humans, they've already killed the other humans, but this is a new set of humans. So they still have to assess what's different about this group and how they should behave accordingly. I think that's so freaking badass. See what he just did? He just told those two. He looked at one and said, hey, you, made eye contact with that one. Looked at the other one, said, you over there, charge them. They're closing in on us. Try to flank them, get around them, and cut them off from the middle. Let's look at that again closely. Notice where those aliens went after he gave the order. And you don't just see them give the order and do what the general says, you watch the result and the consequence of doing such. You watch the tactics that they are using. The general on top of the car knows that the humans have these projectiles that can very much kill them if they aim for their weak spots. So they have to always be in the offensive. They have to always be one step ahead of the humans and be able to take them down where the humans aren't able to. The general knows that if his men or aliens go behind the cars and try to shoot the humans from the side, that the humans will be way more discombobulated and not have an easy target. Right now, these aliens are out in the open and the general knows that. So watch what they do when they follow the general and flank the humans. See that? His tactic works. These guys are smart as hell. I like that they don't make the male of the species just these mindless drones, and you'd like to say, oh, they're just the drones. I don't think so. These males are actual thinking individual warriors that work in unison as a well-oiled machine. Why is this? For survival and to protect their queen.
I think...
The Queen White Spike is a much larger version of the males, or I'd say slightly larger than the males. She has red okami markings on her face, which makes her very beautiful in my opinion, and a frill around her neck that's much more apparent and augmented than that of the males. Look at this female. This is Chi-Chi. That's who I've drawn, who is sitting here today with me.
Scooted-a-doo.
The female is also very intelligent, and the females of the species are much rarer than the males. I'm guessing because they're the breeders. The males protect them because they're the only ones who can breed and propagate the species. So in that way, the aliens function a lot like ants. The female is much stronger and able to take on several different opponents all by herself. The jaws on these creatures are also very strong, able to crush bone and tear flesh with ease. The teeth that these creatures have are mostly for grabbing on so that their prey cannot escape. And look at that huge gullet in the middle. That is for swallowing large pieces and chunks of flesh whole. Wherever these creatures came from, I'm not saying that there aren't things that didn't hunt them, but it was clear that they were predators as they are designed and seem to have evolved to chase down their prey, and like wolves and other social predators, able to coordinate with each other to take down larger prey. The female white spike also seems to have the ability to call for help, and for some reason, wherever she is, males can hear her. And it's almost like they appear. I don't know if they're just all over the globe, but dude, it looks like this female has the ability to almost teleport them to her. I'm not going to say she has teleportation powers. It almost seems like that. I'm sure they're just in an area at the time, but anytime she has used a scream to cry for help, the males have shown up almost instantaneously, like within seconds. The thing is, the males are probably on their way to her, but they don't hear all this commotion until she starts screaming, unless she's having them stand by, which I don't think is the case. Because in the last part of the movie, when they were at that facility, they carried her all the way across the ocean, and yet, when she called out for help, within seconds, yet again, under a minute, the males were at the door at that facility when prior they had not even been anywhere close. The female doesn't mess around, and because the female is also very intelligent, it seems as though she has the ability to exact vengeance on those who wrong her. Vengeance is something that creatures who are very intelligent have, so when I've seen the female going after the girl human, Miri, I knew, okay, these creatures are very intelligent because she understands completely that Miri is the one that is the leader, and Miri is the one that put her in the cage. Also, notice the glowing eyes, the reflective eyes. It's clear that these creatures can also see in the dark. They also seem to have very good vision in the day. So possibly wherever they're from does have night and day cycles. But these creatures are like the ultimate predators. They are able to survive and catch their prey or evade other predators by being able to fly, being able to climb almost any surface, run without being tired, having armor on their dorsal plates, which means that there are probably bigger predators or predators that fly that could kill them. Oh, they also have the ability to swim. Oh yeah, and they have the ability to glide. It's not yet known if the female has this ability. I think the males are the ones that have the ability to glide, but the males will stop at nothing to get their female. And when they finally catch her, she's in the cage and they're lifting her off, the males give chase, understanding that their target is now in the air. And they spread their legs and forelimbs and leap, and like flying squirrels, they glide their way to the helicopter. Now, it doesn't seem like they can glide very far. Maybe this also helps them to avoid getting hurt when they leap from very high places. I think the gliding also helps them to break their fall or to slow down when they are falling. The helicopter was right there, and all it did was just give them a little bit more reach, but you could tell that they were already steadily falling. What you'll notice with the creatures is that they also have green blood. The color of your blood is determined by the chemistry of molecules that it uses to carry oxygen to the body. Human beings and foxes use hemoglobin, and because of the iron content in our blood turns into a red hue or looks red. Creatures like octopi, lobsters, and horseshoe crabs use hemocyanin, which has copper instead of iron, and so it's blue instead of red. And that's why these creatures have blue blood. And there are some worms and leeches that have green blood or violet blood. So being that these creatures have green blood, they could have sulfhemoglobin or some other form of element that causes their blood to turn green. It's also possible that these creatures don't use oxygen. Still more needs to be known about these creatures. The other thing to note is that these creatures, the white spikes, were the cargo on a ship that belonged to a more human-like alien, something that looked sort of reptilian but sort of human as well, which tells us that the white spikes were probably more like cattle or wild animals on their world or from another world that they were either using as a bioweapon or a means of food. Knowing that these things crashed on Earth makes us believe that maybe they were on their way to Earth to use this against us. Who knows? What killed them? Don't know. We can explore that in another video. But seeing that the white spikes are the cargo and seeing them in these little sack-like things tells us that these creatures can also lay dormant for a very long time. Remember that in the end of the movie, they are preemptively striking against these aliens before they wake up. That means these aliens have been alive in these little sacks from before humans were a thing, which is impressive. I would think that it would take a little bit more to get to the bottom of this, but maybe they crashed during dinosaur times, late Cretaceous, who knows? It's either these sacks are able to keep them alive or to activate their torpor or hibernation state, whatever that could be. Maybe these creatures are like water bears and they can actually survive for hundreds and thousands of years in the right conditions, or if conditions are not favorable for survival. And it's as though they never aged. For all we know, these creatures can also be bioengineered monsters. They seem to have a close-knit community. They seem to have hierarchy, meaning the females at the top and the males are at the bottom, but even amongst themselves, depending on the situation, it seems as though certain males will take roles of generals or assigning certain instructions based on the environment. When the female is around, those roles are primarily hers. And that's basically what we know about these creatures so far. We're not behind closed doors when they're doing their shishishing, so they may have skirmishes between siblings or amongst themselves, but all we know is that they're badass aliens. In And that's just a brief overview of these creatures. Their webbed feet and their membranes make it easy for them to swim. And being that we couldn't see them for a while means that they were under the water for a long time, which means they probably have the ability to either hold their breath for a long time, stop the respiration process, or aptly filter the oxygen from the water. Their impressive, never-ending capability to survive every and any environment makes them an unstoppable force and makes them very scary. Like I said, I love these aliens of this movie. I think that the creatures of this movie, the aliens, are the one good thing that they got right about this movie. Their stealth, the tension after having seen these creatures was so well done. Another thing, I don't know if people notice this, but it looks as though there are hands or a hand of a human underneath this thing. That looks like a hand with fingernails on it. So unless this thing has fingernails, that's a human that it's got underneath it. Also, checking out their eyes, there seems to be some kind of cloudy thing there. I don't know if that's just that the eyes being protected from the light shining in it, but this creature almost looks blind. But it's very clear that in the daytime, when you see the creatures, they can see. Also in this scene, the reason why it was so harrowing is though it seems as though the creature's laughing. I don't know. And what's terrifying is that you can also see other creatures up here and here and here just staring at the humans before they attack. As a matter of fact, this alien, this long tentacle that's just staying there very still before it starts moving, that is a testimony to how stealthy these creatures are. That they just don't go into the offense, but rather try to ambush their prey when necessary. There's so much to learn about these creatures, the white spice, and I'm glad we got new aliens to talk about. There will definitely be more videos with them against other aliens or just talking more about them. What do you guys think about the alien design in this movie? Did you enjoy it? Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.